Ian is stripped off to do the socks, which is a bit worrying. And I can see
I have other things on as well.
it looks like a dildo, but it's got this on it.
We need to let that music play a little more because it just sounds like a leisure centre.
I know. I don't know why I needed a Swedish penis enlarger, but you know, it's good to have. Hello and welcome to the Pro Detailer Magazine podcast. It is the old favourites we've amassed together today. We have Mr. James Keeley.
Hello.
Mr. Ian Seeley.
Hi.
And today we have... What?
Nothing.
He's being
Personal
difficult.
joke. Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Today we are going to be covering a number of topics, but the main focus is going to be on our main focus at the moment, which is, of course, issue 12 of the Pro Detailer magazine, coming out in early December, unless something goes catastrophically wrong. We have got a number of topics to talk about, but I want to kick off with the one that we've been talking about on social media recently, and I think I'm really excited about, to be honest, and that is the Megatest.
Oh, I thought you were going to say UK politics.
No.
God, no. We'll leave that one for another podcast.
Well, if we're allowed to amass together, because we might be from different levels of like severity or
Well,
whatever.
to be fair, we might be in different tiers soon. Because I mean, you live in Swindon.
I don't live in Swindon.
What's your postcode?
Is a lovely
What
postcode.
is your postcode?
It is the Swindon postcode.
Yes, so you live in Swindon.
It goes all
Mine
the
is
way
GL. I live in Gloucestershire.
Me too, actually. I'm
You're
a
in
GL as well.
Gloucestershire.
Harmon SN. So the Megatest this time, as you may well already know, is on glazes. So a glaze and an AIO and all in one and a wax, where does it all sit together? Now, in my opinion, now bear in mind, I come from a kind of enthusiast side, so we will ask the others about their professional opinion, but in my opinion is that a glaze is essentially an LSP, a last stage product, with extra filling ability, so that if you have wash marring and light swirls and stuff, you can make it look better with a glaze.
There is a sort of a caveat to what we're doing as well, is it's hand applied.
Yes.
Polishes and glazes.
That's a very, very important part, yeah.
Although you don't actually apply it with your hand. Again, another important caveat, because you have applicators for that.
That is very true.
That's true.
And we have actually bought a lot of applicators. We've got some microfiber applicators that have come in that I haven't told you about, but we've got them.
Oh, well, you should have told me because I ordered them.
Oh, okay. Yes. And yes, you've ordered a lot of stuff from my Amazon
Did you
account.
order them from
Bizarre.
Wishing?
No. I have asked you to order stuff on your Amazon account.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I needed a Swedish penis enlarger, but, you know, it's good to have, I
Don't know
suppose.
why you have a Swedish penis.
Yeah, well, I wish I bought new now.
Keep it under the bed. I suppose since Charlie took your testicles.
So,
New, £45. Others available from 15. Oh, let's have a look down there.
it's going to be greasy. The point of an all-in-one as opposed to a glaze is that it has a bit more in the way of abrasion, but there are plenty of glazes that have got light abrasive in, and that's the thing with a hand polish, is that we're not talking about hand polishes per se, it's just that it's something that can be used to polish by hand. It's a sort of...
The all-in-one tag is sort of associated with machine polishes now, isn't it? Sort of the
all-in-one
one
built
step.
one steps. Yeah, they're different. You've got the creaks on your table going on.
We have got the creaks.
Ian is stripped off to do the socks, which is a bit worrying. And
I have other things on as well. It's just I've taken my shoes off.
I can see an inch of his lower leg.
Let's not give the image that I'm just sitting here in my socks.
I can see that he was actually made by Disney copyright, which is intriguing.
Yeah, my Mr. Grumpy socks. They go with my teacup.
Oh, I see, and your face. Yeah.
It's always nice when your 3-year-old son gives you Mr. Grumpy socks. It makes you have an idea of what you are actually like in home.
You know what you really are. So yeah, all-in-one polishes we kind of associate with machine polishing these days, but we wanted to go back to
old school.
Yeah, old school hand glazes, hand polishes, stuff that hobbyists used to use before they watched YouTube and became ceramic coating experts.
Yes,
overnight, outdoors in the rain.
Yes. but this is quite an important point to make. Is that our last Megatest was on heavy cut polishes, which is something you have to use by machine, and it's not necessarily for the professional, but it was certainly for those at a certain level in their career. James, you've just been snorting some bits and bobs, so I'm just going to turn that one off there.
He's got the vids. He's got the vids.
He's got the vids. Yeah, shoot him now.
Yeah, no, I stupidly decided to have a cup of tea while we were podcasting. I've just breathed in half of it.
Yeah, that was exotic. Wrong hole, as she always says. But
Doesn't doesn't he run clean and shiny?
No, that's John Hole, not the wrong hole.
Oh, yes.
But so that is the Megatest. And so we, first of all, wanted each to select something that takes us back to the old school, back when we had hair, when we were slim, sexy and cool. And I, for one, had modified Peugeot 306s.
Well, out of all those things, you definitely had a modified 306.
That's kind of you. Thank you. You had various E30 convertibles.
Oh, no. We had to go way back before that.
You had Tomcat Rovers.
Yeah, no, I had plenty of Rovers.
Yeah.
Plenty of Rovers, yeah.
Plenty of Rovers.
And then MX-5s.
And
then the BMW started.
And so before we get onto that topic, which we'll do on podcast part B, Ian, what you started like me? You started in the Fiesta, didn't you?
Yes, I had a G-Reg gear, but mine was a considerably better Fiesta than yours. I had electric windows.
You did have electric windows. I didn't have electric windows. I had.
I mean, it's quite cute that you both had Fiestas as first cars, but I had a Ford Orion with a boot.
What was your Fiesta called?
Mine was. Now this is where the point of contention. It was definitely a gear. It had gear on the side, but it didn't have lecky windows. It had really nice plastic hubcaps, which I quite liked.
No, I'm talking about name.
Oh no! I didn't name it.
Really?
It's the one car I haven't named. Every other car since I named, but not that Fiesta.
Mine was Floella.
Oh,
Benjamin.
Floella.
Benjamin.
Isn't that an STD?
Floella? No,
Yeah.
it's a girl's name.
Oh, okay. Oh, I've got it.
I mean, I'll bow to your wisdom.
Itchy.
Yeah, I didn't name any of my cars up until sort of BMWs. It was only BMWs that I started naming. All the others were faceless.
Because I'm trying to remember, but I was off on base back in the day over the summer, and my dad got the Fiesta for me, and I specifically asked for the 1.25 litre Yamaha engine because I thought that's smaller. And I was saying, look, it's 1.25, so it's going to be less to insure than a 1.3, because in those days you had to be on your parents' insurance to be feasible. I think I was still £800. And I just remember the disappointment when it worked out. It was the old overhead valve 1.3.
Oh, HCS.
Yeah. It was
Pushrod engine.
Well, my 1.4 was £1,500 the first year I insured it.
Yeah, my Orion had the same engine as Ian's Fiesta. I had a 1.4 Orion, and I think that was 14 or £1,500, and it still got nicked.
Yeah.
Was it blue or grey?
I mean, obviously it was grey.
Okay. No, because we had one of the blue Orions. You obviously had the grey Orions.
No, mine was Moonstone. So it claimed to fame it was the same as the Cosworth colour, you know.
Well, hang on. I had my second
left over
306.
at the factory.
Yeah. Well, it was 8-tread, so that was right around the time.
Without fear of going too far off piste.
We're already
kind of in that zone.
We've already Michael Schumachered.
But how did all of our first cars die? Because I had the decency not to crash. I didn't crash mine. Now was that the one where you were thrown out of the car in a field?
Yeah, I came out of the window and flipped the car over, and the car.
He's quite strong in those days.
Well, no, it was quite good because if I'd stayed in the car, then the roof would have gone past where my head was. So I've still got the gravel in my back if you want to see us.
No. But we'll take your word for it. And James, how did your Orion end?
So I fitted a set of 17-inch Hockenheim TSW Hockenheims to mine.
And you died of shame.
And the how dare you? How dare you?
Very dare.
That's probably the king of retro wheels, the Hockenheim.
Yeah, they weren't retro at the time.
Yeah,
though.
they were current. Yeah. Anyway, so I bought them from a guy who worked at Halfords in Altrincham.
When you say he worked, what, the salesman?
No. So he worked there, but he had a modified Escort van, and he
Okay.
had the wheels on his van, and he was getting new wheels.
Yeah.
So I bought his old wheels. He probably they were Rip Speed. Awesome. So I bought his old Hockenheims off him, and he came back and took them from me a week later, and my car.
Forcibly?
No, he just stole it off the driveway. It was a Mark V Escort. All he needed was a screwdriver.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so he stole it, and it was found in Chorlton, smashed up.
So hang on, are you accusing somebody who works at Halfords of stealing your car?
Oh, there's no accusations. He did.
Oh, I see.
Because I had two friends who worked there, and one of them went with him to do it. There you go. You live and learn.
Yeah. Where was that in the country?
Well,
Was it Surrey?
no, that was up north.
So
I've actually never written a car off.
haven't you?
No.
Hang on, you rammed your dad up the bottom in something with
E30, yeah, but it lived for another 8-9 months after I did that.
Oh, okay.
I've never actually written a car off.
I've written 2 off.
I've written 1 off. I had an argument with a tree. It jumped out of my way.
What, in the middle of a field?
No, it was at the edge of the field. I ended up in the middle of the field. But you hit
So
that.
it jumped from the field to the edge of the field?
Yeah, it's because
Which is where you'd put your Peugeot, which is, makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no, well, Derry Hill's like that. It's because they all take drugs and chip in them, and it goes into the water stream, and then the trees bring it up through their roots, or rather their root hairs, and then they go on mad psychedelic rushes around the countryside at night. And I was running 3 jobs at the time, and I was going to Bristol at midnight to start my next shift, which was at 2. And I also had a finals exam at about 9 o'clock the following morning, and it was all slightly unhappy. 15th of May, 2005.
That's a great story, but did Adrian Flux believe it?
I wasn't with Adrian Flux, which I regretted.
Were you please tell me you're with a Farmers Union.
I was with Norwich Union, and I then proceeded to have arguments about what were standard wheels on a 306, and I was explaining that Pro Comp 1.2 wheels were in fact factory standard.
Pro Race 1.2.
Pro Race 1.2s made by Oz. No, not Oz. Who made
Team Dynamics. Team Dynamics.
Team Dynamics.
Dynamics with it.
And
so Norwich Union, they're Aviva now.
They're Aviva now.
Okay.
And we had slight disagreements, and also I had just stripped the car out before the accident because I was putting red LEDs in. To be honest, I took the headlining down, and it was one of those things. And
God, imagine those silly old cars when you used to put red lights on the interior.
I know. Imagine anybody would
consider
doing that
when you're
these
this age.
days.
Yeah.
I quite like it actually. Fritz has got that. Fritz has got full red light zone, which is kind of awkward in a supermarket late at night.
But it's really useful in the dogging car park. So
yeah, no, it's a bit of a beacon. It's they know who's there. It's it's Big Bad Crazy Bert coming. Hand glazes. Hand glazes.
Everywhere.
Okay, so
one more thing before we go. I'd just like to point out that though I said I have written off 2 cars, it's not because that they were so badly damaged. It's just that I used to buy really cheap shit cars that were not valuable enough to bother repairing.
Yeah,
so it's not that the crashes were horrific.
I mean, who would do that at our age now?
Looking at this table, there's only one of us with a car worth over $5,000.
5.
Well, yours, you paid a fair bit.
My A5s are worth over $5,000.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the Renault could be.
I'm struggling to think of any of mine that are worth over 2 at the minute.
Well, Fritz for me is hopefully worth rather more than that, but that's kind of
worth is a very speculative term.
Yeah.
Insured at.
Yes, insured at.
Value of parts purchased.
So in Ode to Old School, we are looking to select a product from each of our pasts to put into the test to see how they compare against the modern, more technologically potentially gifted products. So, James, what have you selected and why?
Well, I started off wanting the Maguire's NXT
just for the
polish
smell,
wax. Yeah, it smelled like, was it green apples, I think.
I have no idea.
Because they did a wax, but they did a polish wax, which was sort of SRP.
It smells like performance Vauxhall shows.
Yeah, it does. That and Vanilla Aroma Magic Trees. So initially it was that, but then I remember a product appeared in
your dreams.
Appeared in Halfords, basically my dreams.
Yes.
And we'd sort of heard of it. You know, it's one of those products that as a hobby you'd heard of.
It's one that you heard of, but you're not allowed to speak of on a particular big forum because it kept on getting asterisked out.
Yeah. And it was when Zymor released their Cleaner Wax.
Yeah.
Cleaner Wax. Which was the teal, obviously, best colour.
Yeah, it's comparative as well because they're clean and then cleaner and then they're the cleanest.
Well, it was they had Zymor Wash, didn't they? Or was it called Clean?
Autobath,
that was me making a joke. Hang on. No, it's called Cleaner Wax, and
you need to let that music play a little more because it just sounds like a leisure centre.
Only when you walk in them.
Just do the whistle. No running by the pool.
So it was the Cleaner Wax, which was the turquoisey SRP type thing, but it was way glossier and way beadier than SRP was, and it was quite tricky to use, but it's been that many years since I've used it.
They may have an updated formula.
Well, they've got a new label with hologrammy things, which is always a winner in my eyes.
Well, they also, because I read the blurb, and it talked about petrol distillates and stuff, which suggests it might have some cutting power, be it chemical rather than abrasive.
Oh yeah, well, in my opinion, most glazes should have some.
I mean, have you checked if they've made one for electric cars yet?
Meow, meow, scratchy bitch.
It'll come with a graphene.
Let's not get into pencils.
And so, Ian, you've had a couple choices for your old school, and given that we've already got a field of 25 that we'll go through shortly, or 24.
Yes, I've had a couple of. I struggle to remember the last time I really used a glaze as such. But the only one I do use on a semi-regular basis is Maguire's number 7.
That's the chappy.
As a pre-feed before polishing.
But you explained that it's basically just oil, in your opinion.
Pretty much. I mean, they add some brown colouring into it.
So it's a bit like lime prime, isn't it? Really.
There's no abrasive quality to it. There's no
lime prime
protection quality.
light.
It's a case. It's great on old cars because it sucks all the oil back into the paintwork, so it doesn't suck all the oil out of your compounds.
I see what you mean. Okay. So that
Sounds like witchcraft to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting approach.
Where's the silicon? That's all I want to know. That's what matters in this test.
How
much silicon can we get on that paper?
Yeah, and what sort of quality of silicon? So, and my one, unsurprisingly, I was torn between a bit of Bright Max, but actually the one that I started on with a mains powered drill and a rotary polishing pad was SRP. And it's kind of there, isn't it, as the one.
You want to get SRP nice and hot.
Yeah, for those reading in black and white, it is actually Autoglim Super Resin Bert's talking about.
Super resin
Best
polish.
Best of British.
Established for many, many years. Well, in the 60s sometime. Anyway, so
it's as popular as Pledge in homes.
exactly.
If you're going to go and clean your car at home, even your dad's going to have super resin in the
I'm not going to clean my dad.
Well, you could.
You'll have to at some point. I mean, as they get old, sponge baths is going to become a reality.
Why do you think I moved up the other end of the country? That's why my sisters still live down there. Suckers.
So
it sounded like Herbert then.
Into that field, what I'm going to do is do a little run through of what we've got, because
Family Guy.
We've got what?
Oh, Jesse.
Jesse's a dog.
Yeah, Jesse's dog. You get Mama
Ladies and gentlemen, at the moment, we're just going to take a little.
Sorry,
do you want to go on the jingles?
The jingles. So I'm just going to do a little run through, and if Ian or James, if you raise your hand when I mention a product that you want to talk about or have something to add about, if not, I shall just move on. So we have Wax Planet Nuba Glaze, which was a spur of the moment thing, but Wax Planet I've always rather liked.
Are you sure it's not pronounced Nubber Glaze?
I'm not sure. No, it might be Nubber Glaze, just in case Tony wants to come and can beat us. It's not Tony, is it? It's Jay. It's Jay. There we go. I'm sorry, I'm having a memory lapse. Dodo Juice Need for Speed, interesting one. Talk to Dom at Dodo Juice, and they have got something in the works to replace it, which apparently knocks its socks off. So we're going to be sent to the experimental version as well as the off-the-shelf version. It'll be interesting.
Is it called Underground?
I don't know if it's going to be NFS 2 or if it's going to have a new product name, but I believe
Need
the
for
labels
Speed 2 was
different.
rubbish. They need to call it Need for Speed Underground.
That's true, or Hot Pursuit.
Does it come with socks?
No.
Well, that's going to be disappointing.
Yeah. Well, it's what we look for in life. Poor Boy's Black Hole. That's another conventional one. No, I didn't get that joke, but I'm sure.
You said you was going to knock its socks off.
Oh, I see.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
You've got a button for these jokes,
Yeah, no, but yes.
Yeah,
true.
but you just. Yeah, okay.
Should we? There we go. That's the button you meant, right? So we've got Poor Boy's Black Hole, which is perhaps one to beat in that it's so popular.
Yeah, that's like a cool product from Detailing World. That one, isn't it?
It is back in the day.
That's one of the.
It is it's part of the detailing starter kit.
Yeah, it's one of the building blocks of the industry.
And then we go from the old school to the very new school. We've got CarPro Essence Plus, not to be mistaken with CarPro Essence. Now, James, being CarPro experienced, would like to say something.
Yeah, I'm interested to see this because the brief that was given out was hand applied. Mm-hmm. So I'm really quite interested in the recommendation of this product because I've never seen Essence as anything but a preparation polish for coatings.
But
Yeah,
this is Essence Plus.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm interested to see what the outcome's going to be of that.
And I've got confirmation from the importers, Morelli's, and they said that it can be used by hand as well. And so we are doing it within guidance.
I was just always under the impression that Essence was one of these machine applications that required a little bit of heat for polymerization.
Yeah. But likewise, Nanolex...
So maybe it is a hand polish as long as you use it really, 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 really quickly.
Because Nanolex have sent their...
SI1.
Which I know as... It may very well be different, but I know as Nano 1.
Right.
Which used to be Nano Wax back in the day. And again, that did require the heat for the polymerization.
But not too much.
Not too much.
Not too little.
Not too little. So it'd be interesting to see how that performs.
Yeah.
But, you know, Ian and I are lazy. So if we're going to have to put some effort into these to get them to work, we're going to struggle a bit.
Yeah. Well, if necessary, I mean, we can come and do some vigorous rubbing. There'll be 3 of us anyway. So next on the list is Bright Max All-in-One, which is what I've enjoyed using in the past. I'm a big sort of quiet fan of Bright Max. We've got now, this is one that James got terribly excited about. Gliptone have sent us numerous products, but there are 2 of interest. One is experimental and comes in a bottle without a label for us to just rub around and see what happens. And the other is called Pro Buff.
Yeah, I'm not interested in the first one because it hasn't got a label.
Well, it's going to have a label.
Yeah, I don't know, but I need for me, Gliptone, it's all about the labels. Okay. They are just so American and so 80s and 90s.
They are cool labels.
They need, like, Corvettes on them and stuff.
They've got Corvettes on them and stuff.
Have they? I thought they were, like, generic.
Some of them are classic cars, but no, I'm sure I've seen a Corvette on a label.
But their labels just make me want to just use them, and I bet they smell great. And
they do smell good.
So, yeah, I just... For me, as a retired hobby user, that's the stuff I get drawn to. That's when Maguire's NXT came out. It was that, wasn't it? It was like, wow, look at this packaging.
Yes.
And you wanted it.
Yeah. It was
especially if you'd used their... what was it called?
The crystal, deep crystal stuff?
Mirror glaze.
The red one.
Yeah, deep crystal range, 1, 2, and 3. That was the old burgundy bottle, relatively boring
still make
label.
That.
Yeah. But then NXT came out with lime green top, purple bottle, you know, generic.
I've still got my original tin of NXT, and that is now coming up 18 years old, and I treasure it.
That's one thing the Americans can do, it's packaging.
It is packaging.
Them and the Japanese.
I mean, to be fair, they did seem to steal the colour scheme from Barney.
Good place to start.
Barney scares the hell out of me.
So that brings us to Zymol, which we've talked about, SRP, which we've talked about. Soft 99 has sent us 80 products in 2 massive boxes, all the way from Japan, but via Poland.
I just want to get in that box and then stick all of the packaging around my house.
Yes. It
just looks great. Everything looks great. And
well,
it's got crazy names.
It's absolute crazy names. Most of them I can't read as well, but you identify correctly. They're microfluid, which they were very glad that you picked that out the box, by the way, when I talked to them.
Which one was that?
It's called Micro Liquid, and it's their glaze. It's the one you pulled out.
Yeah.
So that's all in the bag.
A lot of them do look like sex toys, though.
I think we need to have a whole discussion on that box in a little bit because there's some things in there that I want to mention. Really cool.
I think we ought to do like an unboxing podcast because unboxing videos are so damn fancy. But if we did a podcasty one, that could be quite entertaining. Getting us to describe to the others like charades. It looks like a dildo, but it's got this on it, or whatever we use.
That's Glaco, then, yeah.
Glaco, yes, exactly. Indeed, the Glaco toys. So we've got Angel Wax Enigma AIO. Angel Wax AO had a strong performance in the last one. Their Enigma is their kind of ceramic infused one, so we'll be interested to see how that goes. We've got Expert 60 resin polish on the advice of Concept Chemicals, who own Expert 60. We've got offerings from Dual Ultra, from Cartec, their very first ever product, Cartec have sent us, which is going to be interesting. We've got Nanolex SIO1, which SI1, which is on recommendation of Florian. So we've also got Mother's CMX, which is interesting. Yeah.
Expecting
it's
good things out of that.
It's going to smell awesome as well. It's going to smell like a polish awesome.
Yeah, it smells like a proper old school polish. We've had a sniff of that already.
Awesome.
But again, great packaging.
Yeah, indeed. We've got the Turtle Wax now. I've had a bit of a play already with the Turtle Wax Black Wax, so that's going to be interesting.
Turtle Wax it's bound to do well. It's what they do.
Well, it's their hybrid solutions as well.
I was really expecting some colour magic to come through.
Oh, there's still time.
About 10
There's
years too
still
late. We've got Alchemy
changed
Dark
my
Matter.
votes.
And Alchemy, I know very little about Alchemy, but I've seen it more and more on the groups, and it'll be interesting to see what that's up to. Talked to Italy, all of it, and they recommended that Labo Cosmetica Venere is the one to use. So we've got some of that, and we will have a play with our Venere. Valet Pro have sent some stuff. Vonix, now that's an interesting stuff. So Vonix, based in Brazil, they actually have their own Carnuba farm, and most of their products, well, all of their products, I think, use their own sort of produce that they've grown ground up. So it'll be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, they've been at Waxstock, haven't they?
Yeah, they came down last year.
Yeah, and they had a really cool stand with loads of...
Nobody came down this year. But
Yeah, the last year it was on.
or somebody might have turned up at Coventry.
Well,
I'm pretty sure the RS Owners Club were there.
Because they'd sent somebody over on Recon about 2 or 3 years ago, and it was fascinating. Still got all the old brochures from that. Cotchamy, we've been recommended from their importer a hand-applied polish, which is going to be really interesting. AM Glaze.
Which one?
It's a P something. I can't remember exactly which one because there are 3 of them.
P202. Microfinish.
No, I think it's one finer than that.
The green one.
Well, I haven't got it yet, so
okay.
We'll see. But apparently they're also sending. There's lots of new Koch stuff which we don't know about, which is being sent to us on Monday. So that's going to be exciting. AM Glaze. This is one I've used actually. Alan Medcraft's potion, and I've used it, and it's worked very well in isolation. So it'll be good to see how that
Is
rolls.
that all used on the back of Uncrashable?
It is indeed, yes. And I was really impressed with that, and we did it by hand as well. We've got an offering from Autogland, so that's interesting. Popped over from Worcestershire. We've got KKD Regloss rather, which was on recommendation on the page. So we've done some digging and got hold of that. And then of course Meg's number 7. So
we've also got a couple of others that we're trying to get hold of, but again, as with every Megatest, we can't get every single product in there. But we've got Autobrat
Direct.
Cherry
that
Glaze.
was another one that was highly
Yeah,
sort of
Autobright
requested.
Cherry Glaze, and I'm going to throw some Autosmart products into
Yes,
the mix.
was it Topaz?
We have no idea. We've been on the website.
There's a choice of 3, really, isn't there?
It's either
It's
Cobalt, Topaz. No, it's
Cobalt's
Topaz.
the spray on.
Yeah,
Topaz.
it's Topaz,
and
Platinum, or there was another
Oh, it's
one.
not.
Yeah,
it's
well,
not
you
platinum.
need to
mirror
Topaz
image.
and platinum.
Mirror Image was the other one,
Okay.
but I can't remember which one. So I think Mirror Image was the equivalent of SRP,
Right.
but I think Platinum's got polymers in it. We'll have a look. I'm waiting to
talking
hear
to them
back.
anyway.
From, yeah, we'll see what they recommend.
We'll put that one on. So yes, lots of interesting stuff. I suspect it's going to be a big old field. We're going to do the old thing of doing some preliminary tests, and then we'll kind of cycle down and find products that are the best in category, if you like, and then we'll be selecting some that are best overall or best all-rounders. And we're currently developing all the methodologies and stuff like that to make it cool. But we will return shortly when we will talk about what is in the rest of the magazine. Now we're going to move on to other articles that we've got in issue 12 that are upcoming. Now, because of the whole COVID situation preventing our travels, we've sort of reapportioned the magazine a bit, and also based on feedback from readers. So we're focusing very much on the how-to guides section in this particular one. And we've got a vast selection of guides. So we're going to be doing dye transfer with leather. So that's something that Ian has the expertise to talk about.
Well, not yet. I don't, because I haven't written the bloody thing. No, I know in general terms about removing dye transfer. It's just it's more about a timeline of events and what you can do at what point. So at what point you can clean it off, what you'd use for that, what you can do before you have to re-dye it. Really, if there's solvent methods to remove the staining without removing the top coat and damaging the colour coat.
It also gives Ian the best opportunity to cut holes in jeans since he was a Blur fan. I mean, he's still a Blur fan.
What do you mean
He's
since?
still
Was he a Blur fan? I suppose he was Blur. You're
Yeah.
Essex, aren't you? Yeah. I was Blur too. Well, I imagine you're Oasis because you're Northern.
Well, everyone was an Oasis
No,
fan.
I'm an Oasis fan because they were the better of the two.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know, so.
Yeah. Well, I actually, to be fair, no, my favourite was Pulp. Just to be
Oh
out
no,
there.
I was a massive Pulp fan.
Everybody
I
likes
like
Pulp.
Yeah, I saw
Jarvis
him.
Cocker is.
Wood Pulp.
I think Jarvis Cocker is one of the best frontmen of all time.
Orange Pulp. All the different types of pulp. Yeah, no, Jarvis Cocker was good. He was a bit weird, but in a good way. He's actually, I say he was, he's still going. He appears on random like Buzzcocks and stuff now and then.
Well, he planned the Olympic opening ceremony.
Did he?
Yeah.
Music-wise?
No, as in the whole...
whole shebang. Well, pop music just doesn't pay anymore.
He was part of the team with Danny
Boyle.
Yeah, didn't he went into operations management after the pop career kind of like went down at the end of the 90s.
He did all sorts. I saw him play a DJ set whatever the Homelands, BBC Radio 1 Homelands Festival.
Oh, okay.
I saw Jarvis Cocker play a DJ set there. So he's a jack of all trades.
He's been on Radio 4, which is nice.
Well, to be fair, he's at that age now.
So that was dye transfer, and then we have got chemistry corner is an interesting one. We are revisiting heavy cut, well, compounds full stop really, and James was instrumental in getting the compounds that we tested in the last Megatest sent over to a
microscopy.
That's the one.
Yeah, microscopist.
Who's
Kerpist?
Kerpist? He went pissed.
Somebody who does microscopes.
Okay.
Stuffs.
Big eyes. They need big eyes and dainty little fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna look at the chemistry. What do you expect to find in the chemistry?
So I think we're going to investigate the whole smat and dat kind of thing, because we know it's quite a. We love talking about it because it's something that people don't really look into that much. But we've got some good images of each.
It's not so much revisiting it; it's just going into a couple of the details that I don't think we had a chance to go into so much on the last Megatest because there was so much to fit in.
But we're also going to discuss the inclusion of hydrocarbons into polishes, because I know there was a bit of contention about some of my comments in the Megatest regarding water-based solvent-containing.
I've spent the last
VOC
3 months fending off young women and angry polish companies from you.
Yeah, I mean, it basically boiled down to me questioning whether one of them was solvent-based. I didn't say it was. I just questioned if it was.
Yes,
and the difference between a solvent and a silicon.
Yeah, well, we'll go into that a little bit, because it seems there's a few people out there that don't know the difference between solvent and silicon. It'd be nice to
just add a little bit of education to it.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the inclusion of hydrocarbons to polishes, and the fact that just because a polish is water-based, that doesn't mean that it won't contain hydrocarbons.
Yeah, water-based, not solvent-free.
It just means that the percentages on paper are within the boundaries to say it is majoritarily water-based.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
It's
have
like there's a certain amount of meat you have to have in there in order for it to be a sausage.
Yeah, hence why I will never buy Wall's Bangers, or what was the other one? It was like Iceland Porkies or something.
It's they call bangers.
Pig.
Yeah, there was so little.
I can't believe it's
in
not
it.
sausage.
Yeah.
That's a different website.
That's 4 different court cases in 2 minutes. Brilliant.
Yeah. This may or may not be pink mashed potato in a lizard skin.
Yeah, it's like genuine leather.
Leather.
So, indeed. So we've got that side. Now we are also looking at a bit of glass polishing. We're looking at a bit of plastic window restoration. We've got a really, an article I'm really excited about, which is about building a valeting van. And we've drafted in Andrew Southall of Detailed by Andrew, who's been long-term PVD member, known him for years, and he's used lockdown to basically rebuild his van, and he's got some really cool touches on it too. So we're getting that article in through from him very soon.
Makes me feel a bit hollow thinking about how I used lockdown now.
What, just
baking bread and eating, getting fat.
Yeah.
Planted some veg.
Yeah.
Then moved out and left the veg behind.
For me, there was no difference.
But you took the light bulbs.
Huh?
You took the light bulbs, though.
You
took the light bulbs, left the veg.
And a carpet.
Yeah, quite. Interviews. We've got a really interesting interview, which I think will be a bit of a fire starter that, again, James has procured through his social network of Mr. Fraser.
My old friend Fraser.
Yes.
Off of... I'm going to use their full name. Wax off, valeting, detailing, Wowo's, we know them as.
Wowo's, but there's
the
more than one
detail
Wowo's.
factory, weren't they? Detailing factory. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. We bumped into each other. First wax that we did.
Be like that then.
Oh no, I will. I will.
No, it's fair.
But yeah, we bumped into each other. One of the first wax stocks. We were looking for a trade dinner ticket, and Fraser appeared and said, "I've got a spare one. You want it?" and then we sat on his table and had
That's
a right
about
laugh.
45 quid, you know, those are. They're
Oh, I
not
paid
cheap.
for it.
Oh, okay.
God.
Why don't you sit
I
on the
tried to get it for free. Good Lord. Yeah, and he's just, he's a very interesting character. He's got some really strong opinions, and I think it's going to be quite a...
God, imagine what that must be like sitting across from somebody with strong opinions all day.
I wouldn't know, to be honest.
I've got a button for it.
I've got a button for it. Which is it? Is it the sad? No, it's this one. Well, that was exciting. So you're doing that highbrow interview. I am doing an interview with Detailing Girl off Instagram.
Equally highbrow.
Which is equally highbrow, and I'm really looking forward to it as well. Apparently, I'm not allowed to fly over there just to do it, so we're going to be doing it over email.
Well, if I can't go to Decon, you're going nowhere, mate.
Yeah, well,
Simple as that.
All right. So we've got those interviews, and there are various other bits and bobs that we've got in there, but we haven't confirmed them yet. So what we're going to do is stay stum to avoid making the mistake that we've always done in the past, and we're going to do this, and then for whatever reason we can't do this. So just rest assured that despite the lack of travelling that we've been able to do, issue 12 will be an absolute barnstormer of an issue, and
there'll be paper and writing and photos and things like that in it.
We're doing gloss lamination again, and
We're going to do a fold-out A1 poster of Ian.
We're going to do that. We're going to do it for Ian's copy, but I don't think we're going to do it for anyone else's copy, because if we do that for anyone else, we'll go to prison. So
we have got some visits penned in.
Yes, we just need you to organise them.
Yeah, we're just it's tricky at the minute because these rolling
lockdowns.
Lockdown tier 1, 3, and 9 and 7s. So we're trying to get places. But we'll see. If not, we'll make sure that we bang loads more guides in to make it a nice plump. We've kind of ruined it, haven't we?
It's weird. You were looking into my eyes when you said plump, and in my head I was thinking plump before you said plump.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is a bit weird.
It's weird that you're looking into each other's eyes, frankly.
Well, you're the only one that avoids eye contact.
At you. Yeah.
I'll take that for you.
How are your eye tests when you go for them? Can you just look directly into this? No, absolutely not.
So that is issue 12. You can, I mean, there's going to be a cheap little plug here, but if you go to pro-detailer.com and get the 2020 pack, you will get issue 11, but you'll also get issue 12 automatically when it comes out, and subscribers get it first. So make sure you do that, because, otherwise we won't be able to do these things anymore.
It's not really a plug. This is the Pro Detailer magazine podcast.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm like. I don't like
I'm terribly sorry, but
yes, kind of apologies.
Would you possibly buy this thing that you've come here to buy, please?
Well, I did make a 999 call to the fire brigade once and apologise as my first off thing. Really sorry, but could you...
Really sorry, but...
They're fire service as well, not fire brigade.
What, sorry?
They're fire service, not fire brigade.
Aren't they? I thought they were the fire brigade. I watched this documentary called Fireman Sam, and it was, I mean, I love the soundtrack.
Yeah, but Pontypandy's a different world. But
it was a hot fuzz joke.
I presume that was up north.
Oh, I didn't get it.
A hot fuzz joke?
Really?
I've never seen a hot fuzz joke.
You've never seen hot... You must have seen Hot Fuzz.
Oh, I've seen it.
Living in Gloucestershire, you can't live in Gloucestershire and not watch Hot Fuzz.
Yarp.
Literally, the first film I saw when I moved up to Gloucestershire, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's actually like that.
They shot it in somewhere called Somerton, which is in Somerset, I believe. Not Gloucestershire. Just as an FYI.
Oh.
Okay. So... Moving on, and I'm going to try and drop the accent, otherwise I'm going to get some angry farmers. Oh, actually, no, farmers don't listen to the podcast. And we are going to change the topic. Shall I do a little ding dong? We've labelled our ding dong pad, so I'm going to press a ding dong that represents James's car history. No, there we go. We'll do this one. So this is the Pro Detailer magazine's Teens Car Update. James, what have you done with your car apart from destroy it?
Just been generally depressed at everything going wrong.
I mean, you fixed it, so it's...
Well, it had a saggy bottom, didn't it? Let's face it.
So it's MOT time, and usually when it's MOT time, everything falls off it.
Yes.
But Rich noticed that the back end was looking a little sad.
You did have some very, very on-brand, very trendy camber going on at the back, though.
Oh, yeah, it was...
It's still got mad stance.
It was mad stance, vag as hell.
Yeah.
He's on air ride as well, remember?
On the back.
Yeah, it's still air ride, though.
Yeah, it is, yeah. But you said that you should never put air ride on a car, because when I talked about putting air ride on Fritz, you were very negative about it.
I said you should never put air ride on a car.
Oh, but you're allowed to because you're special.
Well, I've got a beard and a vape, bro.
I've got a beard, a bigger beard and a smaller vape. So why can't I have air ride?
Well,
I want air
It's
ride.
to do with vape size, isn't it? That's all girls worry about.
What is? Vape size. Oh, okay.
So yeah, MOT time. It had a bit of mad stance on the back, but I knew that it was due to some front end drooping, which we all suffer from occasionally. Yeah, it's big old heavy lump in it. It's E65 series. It's done 100,000 miles, and the front springs had lowered themselves over the last 16
They'd sag
years.
due to a big heavy lump in the front of it.
Yeah, and then I bought it. So yeah, sent it off for some new front springs to be thrown on.
Which, shout out to Kevin, he fitted them.
He did. He started finding other things that were wrong with it as well, which I wasn't mad keen on, because, you know,
Yeah, well, your
I
dampers
don't
were
want to
shot.
know those dark secrets. I just want to know.
Well, your front dampers are shot, because you said you were
They're
only...
not shot. He said they're tired. They're two very different things.
Okay.
The difference between shot and tired is about 300 quid.
Right.
So when he told me the price of the new ones, they became tired, not knackered. No, they were alright. They're just tired. So yeah, put the new front springs on. Now the self-leveling has picked the whole car up.
Oh, that's good to hear.
But as a result of that, I have been running mad JDM bro stance, wearing the inside of my tyres.
So you're showing your canvas.
Yeah, and yesterday the car kindly popped most of the air out of one of the tyres in the workshop, so I had to go off and get some more winter tyres fitted to it from my crazy European dudes in Siren that sell really high quality part ones.
Oh, is that the one behind the Shell garage?
Yeah, they're crazy.
They are crazy, yeah. You make sure you pay if you don't.
Oh, I paid. That was mainly due to them having a nigh-on fist fight when I arrived because they'd given me the wrong price. I didn't realise there were so many consonants in like singular words. Yeah, they were very angry, but they hooked me up with a set of 4 German import Dunlop SP Sport Winters.
Nice.
With 6mm on for like 140 quid for 4 fitted.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
Not really. I mean, it's only the bus, isn't
Not
it?
with them, you can't.
Oh god, yeah, you don't argue with them. And it smelt so good in there.
Yes?
Yeah, just cigarettes,
Just cigarettes. Oh, that was the past.
like proper European
Yeah,
dark cigarettes.
yeah. I know the ones you can bitumen a road with.
Yeah. So yes, basically, I've just been getting my main BMW roadworthy again, which is very depressing. The Leon's developed a hole in the exhaust, which makes it sound like it's got a external wastegate when it comes on boost. So I'm going to leave that for a while.
I was about to say, because you can hear your Leon from 3 miles away anyway.
Yeah, it's so fast. That's why. It is really quick, that car.
But you can see it from 3 miles away with the smoke signals.
Hey, that's remap dust. That's remap dust, that mate.
Hey, Ian, you can't talk about smoke. At least James's is a diesel.
Yeah, yours is bloody dual fuel.
Mine doesn't smoke.
Yes, it does.
Oh,
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, he does a bit.
Have you ever followed yourself in your A5?
Yes.
How
it
did
doesn't
you?
smoke.
How did you do that?
Somebody else was driving my A5
Who
Where's
was
the
driving?
oil going then?
into the air. Out through the air filter. It gets filtered through the air via the map and into the phalanges and
Phalanges?
Well, hang on.
the phalanges.
When I drove your car, we were just outside Bristol on a large roundabout. You were in the passenger seat, and I hooned in first gear, and you went, "Oh no, don't do that. That's how it drinks oil."
When did you drive my car?
When we went down to see Webman Paul.
You didn't drive my car.
Yes, I did drive your car.
No, I don't let you drive my car since the A6.
What do you mean?
Broke it.
I didn't break it. It
Dog
broke.
destroyer.
You broke my van, and you just left
I
it
didn't
by the
break
side
it,
of the
no,
road.
Rich,
At least.
Rich was
Right,
driving
now,
your
now,
van.
now.
Okay,
And
well, you just
jumped
left
in
it by
with a
the
dodgy
side of the
clutch.
road, and I had to venture into the deepest Gloucestershire with an AA man who was
Who you knew by name, let's face it.
yes. Yeah,
So,
Frank,
Ian, have you broken one of Bert's cars?
No.
But you have broken one of Ian's.
it broke while I was driving it, and I then
There-
used my
ergo-
recovery to drive it about 4 million miles
And
from
I
the south
had,
coast.
I had to sit for 3.5 hours in an AA van because the guy had to stop for an hour with his tacho brake.
It was worth the extra
Not the
50
cool
quid I
kind of
slipped in.
tacho brake
I got
either.
really excited
I
then.
know.
Thought we might have stopped for Mexican food on the way.
No, it was quite funny because I was doing a trip. This is when we went down to Row Point and we were seeing John, and John dropped me off to where my Subaru was being serviced. So I jumped in my Subaru with brand new, massive, great big Alcon brakes, which were awesome, and then passed Ian in this AA truck, big 18-tonner, going up the A34, and they had the lights on in the cab. And bear in mind, those cabs are big and spacey, so the people look small. It's like when Rich is driving the Shogun, it looks like a kind of a child-stolen car. And I could see the AA man talking, and I could see Ian just staring ahead into the gloom.
Oh, Ian loves a good conversation, especially with strangers.
So uncomfortable. And then when the AA man says, "Oh, I've got a taco break, we've got to go and sleep in a service station together." Oh, that was hilarious.
It was when he pulled the thong on the
Oh, happy days.
It's the when he gets the 1040s out from behind his seat.
Yes, it's a shot.
Hold that, love. Hold that. You'll need that.
Pump it up.
Well, I've broken one of your cars, Bert, so that's all right.
Which one did you break?
I broke the S8.
Oh yeah, I mean that was
the clutch pedal off.
That was as we were beating a race prepared car that had stopped on the Nürburgring. So I think that's
Crashed here.
Yeah, I don't hold that against you.
It was my heroic gear changes that broke it.
Well, you weren't being overly vigorous. Whereas I know for a fact that when these two drive my old van, my Astra van, they abused her. They pushed her too hard. You were being quite gentle, and it's just that Fritz had a bolt in the clutch that didn't like.
No, I'm
your
sorry.
touch.
I'm afraid we were unable to push your Astrovan too hard because of your dodgy self-made at-home remap. You couldn't drive it over 4,000 RPM, otherwise it stopped.
I was very proud of that. Yeah, but when it up to 4,000 RPM, it was
It was still an Astrovan.
No, it was a 77 horsepower 1.7 CDTI, but with the poke on it, it was pushing
Out of the factory,
about 130 brake.
No, you should have got a DTI. They were way better.
No, that's the Isuzu engine,
No,
and
2-litre DTI.
which was a
If you're
GM
going to buy a
engine.
Vauxhall, an Isuzu engine's always the way to go.
Well, no, because they're not very easily tuned or they're very
But
dependable.
apparently neither one that you had because you.
No, I'm just really bad at having a go myself. But
Oh,
it
here's a bit of useless trivia.
yeah,
The Lotus Elan SE,
yes.
the one that looks like a piece of cheese,
Is that the M100? No.
the sort of early 90s one.
Oh yeah, the M100.
That had a 1.7 Isuzu turbo petrol engine
It
in
did.
it. And it was the same engine that Vauxhall used as a diesel.
Wow,
They
that's
just put a
impressive.
16 valve head on it.
That's impressive.
It's awful, isn't it?
I'm not so sure. I mean, if it can take,
I mean,
if it can take diesel power.
in the range of Vauxhall sins, it's pretty low down.
Is he going to mention
Below
Saab
what he
again?
did, below
I hope
what
he
they
doesn't
did
mention
for the
Saab
Insignia.
again.
No, I've got nothing against Vauxhall. There are certain things that I prefer to avoid, but I still dream of having a Vauxhall Senator 3-litre 24 valve. I
Good
still
luck.
like.
Good luck.
I know. Tell me about it. I love the Lotus Carlton. I love just the Carlton full stop.
Carlton GSI 3000 24 valves,
Yes,
the one to
please.
have.
Yes.
But they inherently rot.
Yeah, but then all my cars inherently, all cars rot inherently. I mean, hell, even my
Peugeot
aluminium
306s don't rot, thank you.
cars.
Well, they do a little bit, but not-
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot,
Subframes.
though.
The exhaust too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Apparently mine sounds fine.
Your 306.
Mine sounded awesome as well. Since the back box broke off.
Yeah, no, rot is just part of life. We have to cope with it. It's like old age. So, actually, that's something we haven't mentioned. This is really important. For the magazine, Ian and I ventured into deepest Gloucestershire one day and came out with a 1989 Renault 5 1.2 TR.
It's fantastic.
And I tell you what, Ian, as you may now be realising, he doesn't do smiling or happiness or cheeriness or positivity. It's mostly doom and gloom. But when he drove this Renault, a different Ian came out, like the baby Predator in the Predator movies, or was it Alien movies? And he's been so... I mean, we've got a video, and it's going to hit YouTube very, very soon. And by the time you listen to this, it probably will have hit YouTube. Watch it, because that car has brought life and joy back into Ian. And Ian, tell us what the experience is driving
I'm still
it.
in negative overall, I think.
Yeah, but you're closer to a balance now than you were.
I mean, he wasn't overly joyous when he took the mud flap off earlier today and found a cavern.
Yeah, let's face it. The only way is down from my happiness. the more I actually look at the car. No, it's fantastic. Is what it is. I think it may be a little bit because a lot of the internals that remind me of my Mark 1 Clio. So there's a bit of a nostalgia trip.
Was it an
back
RT?
through as well. Yes, 1.4 RT.
What's interesting is this is an 89 car, so 89,
88.
88.
Zephyr.
Okay, well this even, if anything, backs up my point even more. You are only 5 or 6 years older than it is, or 4 years older, 4 or 5. Anyway, like not much older, and so and I'm pro this car. James is very anti this car. I think it's going to be a money pit. It's a waste of space, and it's not BMW. But we kind of come to terms with that. But basically sent me a link to it on the Bay or wherever it was, Facey B, I think, and said, hey, let's buy this car. So we both technically own half that car, which, given where the rust is, that could work out.
You
quite
can have
nicely.
the rusty bits.
Well, no, it'll split pretty much in the middle.
Well, that's difficult because the back left is rusty and the front right, so you'd have to cut it in
So
diagonals.
it could still split down the middle.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
but you'd have half the rust each.
yeah, I'd get a passenger seat and 2 back seats, and yeah. Anyway, why? I mean, I just agreed to it because it saves any arguments when you just say yes to things.
You agreed to it because you can't say no to a terrible idea of car project.
That is true, but thanks for telling the world that, because now I'm going to be besieged by people saying, "Oh, do you want to buy this BMW?" I'll be like,
Hey, I've got a 306 for sale.
"Yeah, I know you do, and I like it."
Can't have it.
Yeah, well,
You're not allowed it.
no, that's fine. So, Aaron, what made you choose a Renault 5 of all cars? Because there are many things that could remind you of your youth, not least a Mark 1 Renault Clio or a Fiesta with a squash roof.
I mean, it's just a very cool car. Look, it's Shetland green. It's got a suit holder in the boot. There's an actual suit zip up pouch below the parcel shelf.
I've never seen you in a suit.
Yes, you have. What car awards?
That was, oh, wow. God, yeah. I've even probably got a photo of it somewhere.
Yeah, we did selfies out front, I think.
It was
in our bow ties. I had to actually tie your bow tie for you.
No, you fumbled with my jowls for a bit, and then
Well,
I found
I
a girl
had
to
to
do
dig
my
out.
tie.
No, I tied your bow tie for you because you were being useless.
I can tie a tie better than anything, but a bow tie is not something I'm used to tying, despite the assumption that I know how to do a tie because I announced
Apparently not.
No, well, I don't. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so it is a cool car, and I have to admit, I'm not a Renault fan.
And I think the best bit about it was the exhaust was already broken in half, so the entire drive home sounded bop, and it was fab.
And we have got some awesome footage. Well, I say awesome, it's my mobile phone stuck to a windscreen badly. We have got some footage of it, and also if you watch the video towards the end, you get a good 3 or 4 minutes of an excited Ian. So if you want to know what it's like to have Ian riding excited, then watch the video. And it is going to be a centerpiece of issue 12. We are going to be doing all sorts of fun things with it, and once we've got it tarted up, we'll sell it and move on to another project car, which I suspect is probably James's time to choose, which will probably be a BMW, I suspect, or possibly even his own 520 BMW E something, I don't care, old school one, which is, again, a celebration of the ordinary because it's not particularly special, but it's...
How very dare you, it's very special.
Yeah, it's not an M3 or
It doesn't matter.
Well, exactly. It's the unexceptional. It would have made a middling sales manager of a photocopier firm very
Absolutely
happy.
not. Way more expensive than that.
Really?
Yep. Directors only, those cars.
It's a 520?
Yep.
From what year?
It doesn't matter. They were like 35, 40 grand. My M5, when it was new, was like 58. And then I loved that car. It was such a great car. And, you know, I remember the time when... all right. That wasn't the right one.
No, I was just hearing. Hang on, was this one?
Yeah, that was my M5. What a great car that was. And I really wish I hadn't sold it. So anyway, yeah, it probably won't be my 5 Series actually because I have bigger plans for that car, and unfortunately, they don't really fall into the realms of our content.
Well, yeah, I know about those big plans. In fact, I've already contacted Pyromaniac magazine, and they've said they will contribute half of the 5-litre tank of petrol required for the explosion.
Accelerant.
That's rich. That's
Yeah,
rich.
it does look like it's running rich. Yeah.
I mean, I rue the day that you ever leave any of your cars in this car park here.
I have left them here many times in this car park.
No.
It's easier than waiting for the AA man to show up.
Well, exactly.
See, I don't think it'll be the E34. I think I may have something else by then, and there is no guarantee that it'll be a BMW.
My God.
You're going to buy a turquoise 106, aren't you?
Are you going to buy a turquoise 106? It's a good choice of car. I mean,
Do
it's
you know what?
You're not going to say no to it.
I have been genuinely looking for a Phase 1 106 for about 4 months.
now, why a Phase 1 out of interest?
Really?
Yeah, because I had a Phase 3 1.1,
Because they look
Zest
awesome.
2.
The Phase 2s are cool. They're quick, but the Phase 1s just look cool.
Bit squarer.
Yeah. It may even... Well, it won't be the 306 because that is beyond repair. But but it might be another 306. I don't know. It's going to be something old and quirky, but I suspect if...
Saxo VTS?
No. Oh, I'll tell you what, I've been looking for VTRs as well, but I only have a Phase 1 VTR, and I can't find one.
I would never get a Saxo on the basis I'd get a 106 instead. I don't like the look of the Saxo. I love the 106, conversely.
Yeah, but you couldn't get an 8-valve 106.
Why would you only want 8 valves when you can have 16?
Because it's a different car to drive. They've got loads of torque, loads of low-down grunt. You'd have to scream them.
That's what somebody who's got a 205 1.6 GTI because they couldn't afford a 1.9 GTI.
Well, they were both 8 valves, so that's nonsense.
Okay, well, it's the sort of thing they would
So
say.
anyway, I don't know what it's going to be yet. I would like to say it's going to be another old cool BMW for us to play with, but we'll see.
I still haven't seen an old cool BMW yet.
Is there another?
I mean, you two are frothing over a Renault 5.
Frothing is not the right word.
Not even a special Renault 5. It's just a boggo.
It is.
And that's the beauty of it.
Well,
it's going to look awesome.
I mean, Bert just basically down-talked my BMW for being uninteresting.
Yeah, but not in a negative way. I just described it as a very ordinary BMW. It's not a sports version.
It's also not old man pyjama pants blue.
Yeah. There's
which
nothing
the Renault
wrong
is.
I don't even know if it's blue or green, to be honest. My colour blindness is confused. But
yeah, I don't know what it is. It might be something French. It might be something Japanese.
Well, if you get something French, could I have one request?
I'll tell you what it won't be.
Okay. That wasn't kind of how my request was going to go. My request was going to be me asking that you have it in the Peugeot Moonstone colour, because it's such a lovely colour.
It's the worst colour they made Peugeot 306s in.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, the way this is going to be won is I'm going to say it's the best colour ever, and then there we go. And that's why I control the mixing board.
Yeah, but they can't see what you just did there, so...
No, well, they appreciate there was a silence.
So it won't be a Subaru, that's for sure.
No, I can understand that. You can't handle the Subaru yet.
Well, that's not necessarily true, but if an SVX lands on my desk for less than £2,000, I might buy it.
Ooh, yeah, SVX is a torn one. I kind of like it, but it's not my favourite Subaru by a long, long way. But the 3.3 EG33 engine with 231 horsepower connected to a 4-speed is a really, really interesting mix of things going on. And I just, what have you pressed that for? So anyway.
We'll get the hang of this. We'll get the hang of this soundboard on the next podcast.
I've got glowing buttons in front of me, but
I think maybe we'll point it towards someone else that isn't Bert.
That's probably true. I'm very single tasks. I can't multitask. It doesn't work.
But yeah, so I don't know what it's been, but I'm on the lookout for something cool and cheap. Ideally German, ideally rear-wheel drive, ideally pre-92, because everything after that.
You just described Sabine Schmidt.
Oh, bless her. She's poorly, isn't she?
Yeah. Sad.
God bless her.
Sad. And on that note, I think we probably need to draw this to a close. But thank you very much for listening, and hopefully we shall do another one of these fairly soon. And I hope you enjoy issue 12 if you read it before you hear us again. It's goodbye from James.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Ian.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Bye-bye.